Hey, my friends, welcome to the Dallas Daily Show, coming at you from the highway, coming at you from Interstate 24 eastbound to Nashville and Franklin, Tennessee. Today's episode is, literally, so, yeah, let's get into it. Okay, so, truth be told, I am recording this episode immediately after I recorded yesterday's episode. If you did not get a chance to listen to the episode from yesterday, feel free to go back and listen. I First of all, I think it was actually a pretty good episode, except for the fact that I used the word literally. I think maybe 12 times, figuratively speaking. I used it a lot to the point where I started calling myself out on it. And I think that's pretty funny. So I'm recording this episode as I drive to Nashville/Franklin, Tennessee, just south of Nashville, Franklin, Tennessee, from the St. Louis area. I'm going down there for a leadership conference. And yesterday's episode, I talked about something that I saw on the side of the road. However, after I recorded it, and so I apologize now if the audio is not ideal. I'll try and sweeten it. We'll try and make it sound better in post. But if it's not ideal, apologies. But I talked about this thing I saw, and I realized part of the way through, I kept using the word literally to emphasize a point, literally, and to the point it became laughable to me. So I hit record on this one immediately after I stopped recording that one because it was so funny to me. And I began to analyze, all right, so I was using the word literally, and I have other filler words as a communication specialist, as a keynote speaker, as someone who actually does public speaking regularly for a living and records a podcast 5 days a week. There are certain tics, there are certain words, there are certain phrases, there are certain ways that I speak that I am always trying to fix things. I go back and I listen to my podcast myself, and I work on things to become better all the time because I believe communication is actually one of the strongest things that we have as humanity. We actually have the skills of being able to talk and speak and see. And if you've ever heard me give one of my talks on communication, not my most inspirational material, usually the future you stuff and the future you faith stuff, all of that's usually the more inspirational material. But I also get hired occasionally to go into companies and talk on the skills, the soft skills of communication. And one of the things I regularly will say in those environments is this idea: communication equals connection. And you can either see if you're growing towards someone or if they're growing away from you based on your communication skills. If you're doing it right, they're moving toward you. If you're not doing well with communicating with them, they tend to be moving away from you. This works in business, this works in marriage, this works in teaching, this works in my relationship with my children. My communication skills, I'm compelled, I should say, that's a better way to say it, I'm compelled to get better at this skill set that I believe is essential to the human dynamic, the interplay between people. As such, I am always trying to pay attention to my words and the words of people I'm working with, training. If I work with top CEOs, I'll say, hey, I just wanted you to know you're saying the phrase, a lot, or you're saying the word like a lot. Like is a big one now in our society. So and I was totally and it was like, and she was like, and he was like. You've probably heard that, and maybe it doesn't drive you as crazy and as batty as it drives me. Nonetheless, that's where it takes me. It drives me batty. And I'm always listening for those words in myself. One of my phrases is so ... I almost use the word so like a comma at points. I'll be like, and this was happening, so, and I'll just so at the end of a sentence. There's nothing coming after that sentence. I just use the word so. Yesterday I used the word literally quite often. A lot. Let's be honest. way too many times. After listening to it, I actually became very aware, oh boy, is that one of those I'm using way too often? I know my kids use it way too often because I look at them and say, did that literally happen? Like that, so. And yeah, a little tongue in cheek, but nonetheless, I think you get what I'm saying. However, here's what I realized right after I recorded that episode. I'm doing something else right now. I'm driving. Obviously, I'm driving to this event, and I'm going down there to connect with some people and to network, to do some learning as well. But there's some relationships that I'm going to build while I'm here with some of my ideal referral partners and ideal clients. So I'm driving down to this event. Obviously, my full focus is not on what I'm talking about when recording a pod. I don't typically record pods from my phone in a car while I'm going 70-something miles an hour, right? But what I realized is what I was saying in yesterday's episode had about 40 to 50% of my focus, because I'm also watching my speed, looking at other vehicles, checking for exits. I'm getting ready to merge to another highway here pretty soon. I'm just watching all of this stuff go by, and in doing that, it didn't have my full focus. When that occurred, I actually began to fall into habitual patterns, right? Talked a little bit about this yesterday, this idea you're able to break free from old patterns. You're able to get out of robotic living, right? You're able to get rid of all of that stuff. We even made it our positive play call. I'm able to build new patterns. I'm able to break free from old patterns. However, when our focus is split, it's very easy to fall back into those old patterns. You tracking with me? You following me? Maybe you're listening to this while you're 10 and 2 as well. Just say, I'm tracking, Dallas. The idea is, when we want to change something, when we want to transform something, when we want to learn a new pattern and shift old beliefs and old behaviors, it takes a higher level of focus. Otherwise, we fall back into automated activity. That's the idea I want to leave you with here, is it takes a little bit of focus and full energy capacity when we are trying to shift into new beliefs and behaviors. If we try and do self-development, if we try and do future you mind shift sort of things, if we try and learn new skills and we're doing it while we are doing other things, because multitasking is a myth, I don't know if you know this or not, but if we are trying to do those things and do something else, we are splitting our energy, we're splitting our frequency, we're splitting our focus, and as such, we will have half the results that we desire. And it will be very easy for us to fall into old patterns because we're not giving the new thinking all the focus we need. So that's all I got for you today, my friends. Again, we're sticking with the same positive play call all week this week, which is I am capable of changing into new patterns. If you need the positive play call cards, you know where they are. They're at the DallasDailyShowPodcast.com, and you can get those there as a free download. Write those, put them where you can see them. It's time for you to shift into new patterns, and you only do that in a lasting way if you give it some dedicated energy and some dedicated focus for a period of time. So quit splitting the focus, my friends. Focus fully on who you want to become, the habits you want to change, who you are ultimately as the future you, and go out there and have a championship day.
Thanks for listening to my dad's podcast. For more tools, go to DallasDailyShow.com. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share.